Okay, good evening everybody. This is I think live stream number 3 and it's absolutely freezing cold. I am freezing. I have little candles here trying to keep me warm. And that's about it. But like I said, grab a beverage. We are going to be talking everything icast because there has been a lot of new things coming out of icast: lures, rods, reels, sounders, even electric motors, new stuff from Hobie. We've got a fair bit to cover here. So first and foremost, obviously I want to hear from you guys, so get in the comments if there's anything that you're getting excited for from icast, any new lures, rods, reels, etc. that you want to see here in Australia. Obviously everything that we see at icast being over in, I think, Florida, we don't get it all here in Australia, but a lot of it we do. Like, we do have it pretty good here, but obviously not near as much as they have over in the US. So grab a drink, grab a beer, grab a coffee, grab an apple juice, whatever floats your boat, and join in the conversation. And we'll get kicking off soon. Tonight, my beverage of choice is a wild turkey. No, not sponsored by them, but if they want to hit me up, give me a yell. And then after this, I'm going to follow it up with a nice cold beer on this nice cold night. Keen on Hobie 360 says Chris's Fishing Adventures. Yeah, we will be touching up on that. I did look into it. No, I don't own a Hobie myself, but I would like to. They do look pretty good, especially this new 360 drive. But we'll be touching on that shortly. So without further ado, let's get this started and get myself warmed up a bit, because it is freezing here. I think it's like 4 degrees at the moment where I am, so that's a little bit chilly. So we're going to jump over here now. Obviously with icast, we have seen a lot of new stuff coming out, and we will be filtering through the winners of the best of show. So they normally have like a best of show trolling motor, best of show hard body, soft plastic, best of show reels, rods, everything. Obviously on my left, this side of the screen, we're filtering through some of the pictures that have come out from some of the new releases over at icast. So you can see there's a lot of new frogs. We've got some new hard bodies. Things haven't been that spicy this year. Like last year, we did see a whole new range of glide baits and swim baits and stuff that was just a little bit different. This time, it feels like a lot of the companies are going with like a refresh of what's tried and tested, rather than looking for groundbreaking new technologies. Now that's more with lures and stuff. Pardon me. Chris's Fishing Adventures, he's in the comments. He is saying it's definitely going to be a game changer for the 360 drive. We will be touching on that one a little bit later, because I believe he actually fishes from a Hobie, so he'll know a little bit more about it than myself. I guess as these pictures filter through, we might actually start talking about some of them, because there's one there that, well, I don't know if I'm really excited for, but the footage makes it look cool. It is a surface lure. A lot of you guys have probably seen it. It's a surface lure by Lunker Hunt. It is the Lunker Hunt, what is it? It looks like a spider. I think it's the Phantom Spider, Lunker Hunt Phantom Spider is what they call it. You've probably all seen the footage getting around Facebook and Twitter and social media, whatever social media you're on, and it does look pretty good. But in terms of other top water lure choices, I don't know if it's going to be that much of a standout. I think it's going to be something that just more catches the eye of anglers, I guess, because it is something a little bit different. It's not, I don't know, I'm just wary of the action that it's going to have in the water. Like, I think the one thing that comes to mind for me for its use is probably maybe bass. I don't know the size of it. It looks like it's a fair good chunk of spider there. So it might be a bit big for bass, but essentially my thoughts on it are casting it tied up into structure, and rather than just working it like a weedless frog, maybe just real sharp, short twitches. Just getting the water pulsing in that snag, I think you'll probably find is going to be its best bet. Now, a couple of years ago, there was the Savage Rat. Obviously, Savage Gear revisiting the whole rat idea. Now, Molex has actually brought out their own rat, which is a weedless version. You can see when the picture comes back up over here, is actually like a double weedless hook setup. It's like two weedless hooks behind each other, which makes me think it's going to be a soft body on it. Obviously, this spoon here as well. That's going to be a jigging spoon. It's going to be great for bass. Now we've got the Stratic FH as well. I know took out an award for, I think it was best saltwater lure. We got new braids. But yeah, look, as we get started, like I said, grab a seat, make sure you're nice and warm wherever you are. Jump in the comments because I want to hear your opinion, because this whole live thing is all going to be about you guys, what you guys think, what you're excited for. Maybe not excited at all. Maybe everything in this is boring from icast. Maybe there's nothing at icast this year that's really tickled your fancy. Let me know though. Give the video a thumbs up as well, because it really does help the channel, and hopefully we can sort of start creating a nice little community here. So what do we got? It's a new blade by, I think, Jackal. New Tatula coming out as well from Dial, obviously. There we go. That's the Molex Rat. You can see it's got like a double weedless hook. Got new swim baits. Also running a single weedless hook design. I think that's Lunker Hunt. 13 Fishing. Obviously loving their bright colours. They had that bright red one before. Now they've got a bright green one. This is a glide bait with a prop inside it. And that's from Chase Baits. This is another one from Chase Baits. It's their take on, I guess, a surface walker. Little bird. Does come in several Australian colours as well. I've seen them in like a cockatoo colour. So yeah, some interesting ideas. Like I said, nothing I don't think is really groundbreaking, but more so just revisiting old ideas that they know works. And that was the Hobie 360 drive. So let's jump in. Chase bait glide bait with the buzz blade in the middle looks good. Yeah, actually, I was just watching footage of that before I jumped on the live stream, because obviously I'm just trying to get as much information about all this new stuff coming out so we can essentially talk about it here. So yeah, I did actually watch swim footage of it. The blade inside that glide bait doesn't spin overly quick. You know, it's not. It's a similar blade to what you find on a buzz bait, but a buzz bait, that propeller really is working. But in the footage I saw of this glide bait, it's only going fairly slow. So I guess the use of this is probably just to get a little bit of flash out in the water, maybe a little bit of vibration, but mainly that flash, as that glide bait is just cutting through the water slowly. The spoon here, actually, these are going to be great on bass. As long as they're a decent size, they're going to be great. Just awesome representation of little bait fish. Places like Somerset, where you do get a lot of schooling up fish. Hins as well. I know in winter, right now, they're starting to school up a fair bit. So jigging those new spoons are going to be great. Any idea what some of the prices will be? There's some leaking prices, obviously in US dollars. We won't have a huge. We won't have, I guess, heaps accurate prices yet because icast only just finished on the 12th, so that was 2 days ago. So they're only really just releasing American prices at the moment, and we can try get an estimate from that based on just currency conversion. But I find the Australian market is, the dollar's just blown out. It is so much cheaper to buy fishing gear over in the States or over in Japan than it is here. So I can maybe give a couple American dollar prices for the ones I do know. But yeah, I don't know how accurate that will be if we do a currency conversion on that. So we'll jump over and start taking a look at some of the prize winners for icast this year. I'll drop out this slideshow. And here we have first up the winners. So for the boating accessory is the Garmin Force trolling motor. So for everyone running Garmin Sounders, this is actually going to be a very, very big blessing. Especially if you're going to be obviously using high-end Garmins where you want to link it up to your trolling motor. Alan Lee says Whopper Plopper. The Whopper Plopper is at like cult status in the States, and it is slowly moving that way here too. They're a fun lure to use. I love them. They make a very unique sound, and yeah, they've got, I believe they showcased new colours for the Whopper Plopper. But anyway, back to this Garmin trolling motor. So they're advertising it on their website here. It does say the most powerful and most efficient trolling motor available. So I'd take that with a pinch of salt. Obviously, it depends on what brand sounder you're running. If you're running a Humminbird, then you're probably not going to get the link-up features with it. You're going to want to run a Garmin sounder with your Garmin electric motor, because with this, it does have an integrated chirp and high-def clear view and side view scanning sonars built into the electric motor. So yeah, if you are running Garmin, then you can actually essentially use this electric motor as a transducer for your Garmin sounder. The foot pedal on it is completely wireless. So I don't know if that's going to be a hindrance if you're fishing long days and the battery cuts out. I haven't seen any information on how long the battery lasts on it. But they say it feels and steers like a cable steer foot control. So that will be interesting, considering it is completely wireless. They do talk up the GPS accuracy of it as well, because it does have a built-in autopilot, as well as they say an accurate anchor lock to stay on top of the schooling fish that you find, or to stay on top of the position that you want to be anyway. Floating remote control gives you full control of the trolling motor and simple point-and-go gesture steering. Now, I don't want to go putting words into anyone's mouth, but that sounds point and go. Point and go. That almost sounds like, to me, it's going to be like a point in the direction you want to go and it's going to go that way. But either way, look, obviously this did win Best Boating Accessory at icast this year, so with thousands and thousands of people looking at it, it must be impressive, especially when they're competing against Minn Kota, which has just dominated for so long. It has dominated, and then you've got all the other competitors as well that do the trolling motors. So for Garmin to bring out, I think this is their first electric motor to win boating accessory straight up. It must have some pretty good electronics in it. So we'll move on to the next one. It's going to be completely irrelevant here in Australia, unless if you manage to find a frozen lake that's holding some fish in it, maybe some carp or something. But Humminbird have an Ice Helix 7 chirp with GPS built in. So this is an ice fishing fish finder. It's obviously this one best fish finder for ice fishing. Like I said, we're not really going to have a use for it here. I know there's no ice around where I live. Maybe there is in other parts of Australia, but I'm not really aware of it. But if you haven't used Humminbird before, obviously Humminbird's sale point is that they do have a very, very high pixel count. So the clarity on Humminbird sounders is absolutely immaculate. Absolutely immense. So I guess if ice fishing is your thing, or I guess not even ice fishing, like if you want portability in a sounder, you could even just drop the transducer over the side of your tin or over the side of your kayak, maybe even down the scupper hole. And that'll work, but I think the price point for it is probably not going to be much different to some of the other Humminbirds of a similar size with similar features. So I'm not really getting up in arms about that one or overly excited. Best rod and reel combo. Now Lose took this one out. Lose. I've never fished with a Lose, so I honestly can't tell you. It was pretty icy the other morning. Oh, it's freaking cold. It's freaking cold tonight. But not quite frozen. Man, I think the cod would be really struggling if we were having to ice fish for them. Gee, that'd be a slow day on the water. But anyway, we've got the Lose Max Smash Baitcast combo for the best rod and reel combo at icast. I know if you follow Liam Fitzpatrick as well on YouTube, he fishes with a lot of Lose stuff. A lot of it. It wouldn't surprise me if he was sponsored, but he pretty much uses all Lose stuff and he loves it. So I'd say, pardon me, if you want a accurate, maybe biased, I don't know, but if you want some more details on Lose reels and rods and stuff, probably go hit Liam Fitzpatrick up. Go watch his channel. He's got some pretty good videos over there. That's pretty much all I can say, because like everyone has a certain brand that they fish with. I fish with Daiwa. I mean, not Daiwa. Why do I even say that? I fish with Shimano. I have fished with Daiwa in the past, but now I fish with Shimano. So let's just move on. Another brand that, well, Mojo. I think there's a brand we don't even have in Australia. Best freshwater rod was Mojo Bass Glass. So it's a glass rod. I don't think this brand's even available in Australia. So like I said, this is some of the issues that we face seeing stuff at icast, and we're not getting it here in Australia because we seem to be fairly limited here. But I guess over in the States, they can catch bass, obviously largemouth and smallmouth, spotted bass, etc., practically all across the country. We don't have a fish like that here that we can catch all across the country. We've got barra up north, you've got jacks all down, essentially all the northern coastlines of Australia, obviously right down to sort of the Gold Coast on our side. Western Australia, you get some good jacks. You've got bass inland, cod are more southern. We've just got a mixed species everywhere, so we can't. Makes it hard for suppliers in Australia to bring in lures and sell them at a national, Australia-wide kind of way. Because they're having to essentially just pick and choose what they want and what they think they can sell at different retail outlets around Australia. So I guess that's a big reason why we might be limited in what we get here. But once again, another one that I'm not overly fussed on missing out on, but this next one has tickled me a little bit. We all recently saw, probably over the last year or so, the Shimano SLX reel was a fairly new one. They've just released the SLX DC. Now, if you don't know what DC is, it's essentially a digital control or digital cast. People call it different things. Braking system in the reel. Hugely popular reel. One of my favorites is the Corrado DC. Now, how will this stack up against the new Corrado DC? Well, let's talk about that right now, hey? It uses the same DC system in it. So the SLX DC uses the same DC system in it as the Corrado DC. But they have changed the gearing system. So this reel will sell at a lower price point to the Corrado DC. The Corrado DC being the better, more expensive model. But your main difference in this is just the gearing system. So while they both run the same DC system, the SLX, obviously winning best freshwater reel, makes me think it's not going to have the best saltwater proofing. But yeah, it runs the HEG gearing rather than the micro module gearing. So HEG is just high efficiency gearing. So it's not going to be as smooth to wind as the Corrado DC, because it has moved on to having the micro module gearing system, which the micro module gearing system is, you just think of 2 gears, but the teeth are a lot smaller and there's a lot more of them. So it just makes the gears, as they spin and hook into each other, a lot smoother. So yeah, that's where you're sort of downgrading to this one, which isn't bad. Like, it's a good looking reel. I love the blue and the black. What do you guys think? Like, I've got the Corrado DC and I absolutely love it. I use it nearly every week when I go out. I've also got the Scorpion DC, which doesn't have the micro module gearing system. So to me, I guess the SLX DC might be kind of similar to that Scorpion DC that we see coming out of Japan. That's where I got mine from. But yeah, that's the biggest change that I could find, was just the gearing system. So instead of the micro module, you've got the high efficiency gearing, which if you're just using for freshwater, so bass and stuff, not an issue. But yeah, I really like the look of it, and yeah, it won best freshwater reel. So the DC system in it, like I said, is the same as the Corrado DC. So I guess your casting distances are going to be fairly similar. Very fairly similar. I think it's maybe a little bit lighter than the Corrado too, going by what I heard, but there's not too much information out on them yet. Here we go, my Apple Watch is telling me I've got to stand up. Corrado DC has made me enjoy Shimano again, says Chris's Fishing Adventures in the comments. Yeah, Chris actually got I think he came to me for my recommendation, because he came fishing with me up on the Barra trip when a few of us boys went up chasing Barra on our kayaks, and he was asking me a bit what I thought of the Corrado DC. I love it. If you ever fish with me, you know I love it. It's a great reel. Insane casting, great braking system on it. Solid saltwater resistant or saltwater proof. I don't know what they advertise it for, but yeah, it's great in the salt. So if you want a cheaper price point of a DC reel, I'd probably look at going the SLX DC when it comes out. Obviously, because I don't think Daiwa do DC reels either. So now, best saltwater reel. Shimano taking it out again. It's actually already hit shelves here in Australia. With the Stratic FL. Stratic FL. Now, I remember first seeing this reel on, I think it was Instagram, and I fell in love straight away. The all chrome body is super slick and super sexy. I love it. I think this is their best looking Stratic for a long time. I currently fish with the Stratic FK, which is also a fantastic reel, and I love it, but this thing just looks so much better. It is such a good looking reel. These are on shelves already. And I'm just bringing up the stats for it here. Comes in sizes 1,000, 2,500, 3,000, 4,000, and a 5,000. Differences. So this Stratic has actually moved up to a micro module gearing system as well, which obviously the Stellas had. They've also given it the silent drive, so they've changed the main drive in it. They still run the Hagani gear, new Hagani gears, which are, I think, the Cold Forge gears in them, so they say that they're supposed to last longer than, well, essentially we are. They reckon they're very, very tough. X-Protect, obviously, is the saltwater protection. Long stroke spool, so that is, I think, the slightly taller spool for a longer cast, so you don't have your line laying as deep. And carbon cross drag washers, which I think is an upgrade on the old washers, because I know the old washers, while they did punch out a lot of drag, not as much as some of the other reels. So the 1000 size uses a one set felt drag washer system. The 2500 size uses a 3 set felt drag washer system, and the 3000 size above uses a higher grade 3 set cross carbon washer system. Which, let's have a look at how much drag it puts out. Here we go. So the 1000 HG version is going to have 3 kilo of drag. The 2.5 and 3000 size, which I'm pretty sure is the same body size, just a different spool depth on it. Both punch out 9 kilo of drag, and the 4000 and the 5000, which I guess you'll be using for like your offshore fishing or snapper, mackerel, they punch out 11 kilos of drag. Actually, while I'm here, let's have a look at the SLX DC and see what, there we go, it's already up on the Australian Shimano website as well. So I guess after the stream I can chuck a link down to it in the comments below, and so if you guys want to check it out, you can have a look for yourself as well. I guess we'll quickly go over the SLX DC, so I'll bring it back up to that one. So it is DC technology, Hagani body, shielded anti-rust bearings, saltwater ready. There we go. So the SLX DC, even though it won best freshwater reel, is saltwater ready. So essentially the only difference between it and the Corrado DC is the gearing system in it. So rather than micro module, it's just using the HEG gearing system. So the high efficiency gearing system. 4+1 bearings in it, that's fairly standard. 4, no, all the same size. 4 of the same size. You've got your standard 150, then you've got it in a high gear. Then you've got it in an extra gear, and then they do it in a left-handed version as well. Now the max drag is going to be 5 to 5.5 kilos, so that once again is fairly standard for Shimano bait casters. If I don't know why they really need to push it out more, because that's probably my biggest beef with Shimano bait casters, is they only max out at around the 5 to 5.5 kilo of drag most of the time. So I think they can be pushing that out more, but I think that's because they know with the great numbers that they're selling that they can probably make some more after sales selling drag washers. Now, after that, starts to get a little bit boring again. Tackle management, Plano took it out again. I don't think there's really even any competition. in this segment. Like every tackle box that everyone has, every tackle tray, if it's not a home brand one from Anaconda or BCF or wherever you shop, it's probably a Plano. Everyone has a Plano, so I don't think there's much competition here. Now, the idea behind this one is interchangeable trays, I believe. So essentially, they've just made a box that can just chop and change around to store several different lures. So at the moment, it's like I've got to have a spinnerbait box for my spinnerbaits. Then I've got to have some smaller trays for smaller hard bodies or blades and small vibes. Bigger trays for my big saltwater lures. Essentially, what this is here is something that's just fairly interchangeable. So you can see on the bottom right, bottom left picture, they've got that set up as a spinnerbait box with what looks like little trays that can sit in over top. There we go. So yeah, like I said, not much competition in that one. Here we go. Now 8 of 6. I'm not sure what, doesn't say what category it won. I think it might have been best jig or best freshwater jig or something. The live target flutter shad. So this one here is going to be fished like a spoon. I love how they've gone with that like bait fish profile as well. Hopefully, you can't really see in the picture, but hopefully that actually gives off a bit of flash, or maybe on the other side of it, it might have like a foil bit on there or something. Chris's Fishing Adventures going back to his Corrado DC, saying, yeah, caught 340s bass on it. So good. Yeah, well, look, yeah, the Corrado DC is one of my favourite reels, and I've said that all the time. I use it heaps. But yeah, flutter shad. It kind of reminds me, like with those two lips that you got up top, the Shimano Wax Wing. It reminds me of that. How when you actually cast and retrieve, like I use them for tailor and stuff in the surf, but you cast them out and winding them back, it's kind of like a glide bait, but really quick and kind of erratic. I don't know if this will have the same action, but if it's worked like a spoon, I know they do have another model like this, which actually is a spoon shape, which might be more for vertical jigging. I have a feeling this version here might be more for the cast and retrieve. Looking at that, but they look good. The finish on them, like I said, it's like they're going back to lures they know work, and they're just doing a new, fresh look on them. That's what this year's icast kind of seemed like to me. We've currently got a few people in here watching still. So if you guys can take 1 second just to give me a thumbs up on the video, that'd be great. It really does help the channel. And then we'll move on to the next category. But I want to hear from you guys. Look, is there anything I'm missing out on? Is there anything you guys have seen on social media that you're excited for coming from icast? What do we got next? Here we go. This is the one I was talking about. Freshwater hard lure. Live target erratic shiner. So this is the same baitfish profile, I guess, that they're going for, but in more of that spoon shape, just like I was saying earlier. So this one I think will be great. Jigging those bass is where I'm probably going to use it. Even, I don't know the weight of it. It looks like it'll be fairly light because that's going to be made of plastic, having those clear lips on it. Lips. But yeah, as soon as I see that, I think bass. That's just going to be like some of those bait fish that we see when you see bass schooling up that are feeding. often will see big balls of bait around them because those bass are just going nuts, just munching on them. And I think that's going to be unreal. As long as the price point's not too crazy. But Live Target do make great lures. I already use a lot of their surface lures, like their frogs and mice, are great because they have a really soft body. But this here I can see being very popular for the bass fishers in southeast Queensland here. I'll probably be picking one up when they hit Australia because they do look pretty good. I'm just a little bit wary on how much shine they're going to be putting out. What do you guys reckon? You reckon these will be a hit for the bass fishers here? I reckon they will be. Like I said, I'm just a little bit wary on how much flash it's actually going to put out, whether it's going to be more a vibration thing or a flash thing. This one, here we go. Dun, dun, dun. Look at it. Oh, that just went all over my mouse. Look at it. How good does it look? Everyone's seen this one. Everyone's seen this one. But this is what I was saying earlier in the video. I've just moved that screen down a little bit. Let me get that back up. Best freshwater soft lure, Lunker Hunt again. Lunker Hunt Phantom Spider. Now, I actually already use a lot of Lunker Hunt topwater lures, and they absolutely nail their finishes. I'll get a couple out here. Lunker Hunt do great topwater lures. This one still even edge bite with a single hook on the back instead of treble. Yeah, that's Chris going back to the Live Target jig thing. Edge bite. Yeah, maybe fish sitting on the edge of weed beds or something could be handy there as well. But anyway, Lunker Hunt. Lunker Hunt, now you can see this is a Lunker Hunt lunker frog. This is one that I often like to use on the cod. But that's one thing that Lunker Hunt's always got is great finishes. Great finishes. Because then they also do that in a pop frog. Lunker Hunt pop frog. So you've got the normal frog and you've got the popping frog. So the cut face. And you can see the colours and the finishes on them are great, and it's going to be no different for the spider, the Phantom Spider. And like I said, we've all seen the video of it on social media. It does look pretty good. Just don't know whether the action will be as good as the editing on their video. But for me, see, I'm thinking the size of that spider with those hooks on it probably will be similar size to one of these frogs, so it might be a little bit big for our bass, but for Saratoga, barramundi, even cod maybe, might be great. In winter when you want that slower presentation, looks like a redback spider would scare my kids and wife. Well, there you go. There's a reason. We'll get a couple for Halloween, put them around the house. Because that one is a redback spider colour, definitely. Which I don't know why they went with that colour, because isn't a redback a Australian species? No, yes? I think they are in other countries, so I'm not a spider expert here. But no, look, from the footage, it looked okay. I just don't see how it's going to be a game changer compared to other topwater lures. I think it might just be something to catch the fisherman's eye in the shop. I could be wrong. I'd love to be proven wrong. With those legs hanging off the side, I think it's going to be a much slower presentation topwater lure. So I said at the start, cast into your snag, let it just float there, and just very small, sharp twitches. Essentially just like wiggling your worm. just getting that spider and the legs on it just to sort of vibrate and create ripples on top of the water. And I think for slower fish that need to sort of come up and look at the lure a bit first before they strike it, I think that's where it could be better than, say, a stick bait, like a pencil bait or a popper, because those sorts of lures, as you work them, come out of the snag. Something like this, where you're not even winding, just cast it in and just wiggle it. Just let it just sit on top and just vibrate. You know, they could imitate a cicada, it could imitate a spider, cockroach, beetle, anything. Like, it's not necessarily going to imitate just a spider, I guess, but you can get it to imitate just about anything. But yeah, freshwater soft lure went to Lunker Hunt Phantom Spider, and probably because it is something a little bit different. Not necessarily because it's going to fish the best. That's just my opinion. Obviously, you guys might think it's going to be great. Obviously, if it doesn't catch fish, yeah, use it to scare your wife and kids. Or, I don't know, just attach a couple to your rods so no one else comes and touches your rods. They might think there's a spider on there if they're scared of spiders. Terminal Tackle. Winner of Terminal Tackle was the VMC Bladed Hybrid Treble. When I first saw it, I thought, how has this not been done before? Well, I'm sure I would have seen something like this before. It's a good idea, but has it really taken till 2019 for someone to come up with this? I'm sure I've seen it before somewhere, but anyway. My next thought was, okay, yeah, this is great, it's a good idea, but what lures am I going to put it on? Like, if I buy a pack of these trebles, what lure will you chuck it on? I guess maybe a spoon. That'll give you a bit more flash, but is it going to affect your hookup rate? Maybe. You might get short strikes with them hitting the blade. I guess you could put it on some of your metal jigs if you're surf casting for tailor or mulloway or something. Because in my mind, if you chuck it on like a crankbait and you get that wide wobble crankbait or even the sharp, like little minnow style ones, I just don't know if you're going to optimize the spinning of the blade on the back of that treble. Same again if you got a lipless crankbait. It's like a Jackal TN60 or something. The toe point's on top, so that's where it gets the vibration. If you chuck one of these under it, man, you're going to get less vibration out of it. I don't know, maybe you could stick it on the belly treble and jig. That might work. But yeah, it's kind of an on the fence thing, isn't it? Like, is it a new idea? Where will it work? Where are you going to use it? I'm not sure if I'll have use, but I predominantly fish for cod. So, well, swim baits. I was just about to say that. Swim baits. Yeah. Fred Bunny, swim baits. A lot of people are getting the soft plastic paddle tail swim baits, and they'll get a treble and essentially tuck one side of the treble, like one of the three prongs of the treble, up into the swim bait. It could work there, giving you a bit of spin and flash on your swim bait. Even your hard body ones. I wonder if it would work on like a gantrel or, I don't know, glide bait. I've got a few glide baits there. I'm just looking at them. It might work. It might. That might be, because I know the gantrels and the chiba drills and stuff have the feathered trebles, so maybe this might be a slight variance of that. Possible idea. I guess something just to toy with when we get it here. And another Shimano one. Here we go. Fishing line, Power Pro, Moonshine Braid. Now, I am a big lover of the Super Slick Power Pro. If you haven't felt it yet, it is super smooth. Super duper duper smooth. Now the Moonshine Braid, So there's obviously one best fishing line. The moonshine braid is for night fishing, they say. So it is highly visible under UV light. Now, I do fish at night a fair bit, but how often do I have a UV or black light on me? Maybe, I don't know, but apparently, yeah, the reason for it is it's highly visible at night. That's all they say about it. So maybe it's glow in the dark. That could be good, because then you can actually trace and watch where your line lay is, where your lure is coming from. You'll probably want to use a fairly long leader to keep that glowing colour away from your lure. But yeah, I guess if you're doing a lot of nighttime fishing, it might be great. Glows under black light. So maybe it's rechargeable. Maybe you get a black light, hold it over your spool for a bit, and then you can cast for a while, and that's glow in the dark braid. That's going to be my guess. But even without that, super slick line is pretty good. So this is going to be the V2. I'm going to assume it's got a thinner diameter than the old super slick. Engineered for toughness. But no, if you haven't tried the Power Pro Super Slick, I think it was one of the first braids to start doing the 8-weave super smooth kind of super braid. So Shimano has been doing it for a while, and it is pretty good. I don't think it's as thin as other brands, but it's super durable. I've never had an issue. I've got a spool of it on, I think it's my Chronarch CI4, and I spooled that on there years ago, and it's still living. It's still good. Can't kill it. And it's super smooth, and it still is super smooth. Unlike, I think it's the Berkeley one, has like a waxy finish. As soon as that waxy finish starts to chip off, the braid is pretty weak, but this doesn't seem to have that issue. Like the initial Power Pro Super Slick doesn't seem to have that issue. So hopefully this one's just as good, if not better, than the last one. Fly fishing accessories. Simms Dry Creek Z Sling Pack. Now, who here does fly fishing? I try to, but I'm not very good at it, honestly. It's something I want to get better at. I want to start fly fishing for bass more, get down south, chase some trout, and even fly fish for Murray cod. Be great fun, but I just can't cast. I'm rubbish at it. So I can't really say anything about this. It's a bag for flies, for fly fishing. It won the best fly fishing bag. I'm just going to move on. Technical apparel was Aftco, another brand that I don't think is available in Australia. Costa Waterwoman won best eyewear. So, guys, if you want to be a water woman, if you want to look sleek and sexy as you're casting out those lures, grab yourself some Costa Waterwoman sunglasses. You can catch fish and look good while you're doing it. Maybe I'll get a pair. I think in that exact pattern too. I think they'll look pretty good on me. Yeah. Costa Waterwoman eyewear. Won best eyewear for the year. Cutlery tools, Bubba 110 volt electric fillet knife. Right. For all you blokes that love to, and women, blokes and women, that love to fillet and release, this one's for you. Electric filleting knife. So think of cutting the turkey at Christmas time. We don't do Thanksgiving, so whenever you cut turkey, cut the chicken or the lamb. Yeah. So we're going to be getting electrical. I don't think we'll even get this in Australia, but Rapala do an electrical version of this, I think, which we've already had here for years. I don't know, I guess flathead are always good eating fish. You'll be able to just carve them up post haste, get them ready. Let's just move on. Let's go Right, so these ones don't have images added yet. Boat and watercraft. The Hobie Mirage Pro Angler 14. So, Hobies are expensive. But everyone saw it. The new 360 drive from Hobie. If you haven't seen how Hobie works, they have these big paddle things underneath that you pedal with your feet and you move pretty fast so you can fish as you paddle as you're moving fast. This new one, the whole drive underneath can rotate 360. So essentially, you can be doing donuts while you're casting at your barra. But no, I guess all jokes aside, this is actually going to allow you to get in tight to structure. Because previously, I think Hobie's previous drive had a forwards and a reverse. And then you kind of had to steer as well. So with this, you can rotate the drive so you can get in and not just reverse, but you can get in, turn around, face different ways, all with your feet on the 360 drive. So if you got the money to grab the new one, I think it's going to be a bit of a game changer for yak fishermen that can afford these top range kayaks. The new 360 drive will be patented by Hobie, probably for a good few years, because obviously they've dropped their patent on the original pedal drive. So we're starting to see other kayak brands come out with pedal drive versions of their kayaks. But the 360 drive is going to be Hobie's new baby. Footwear, Frog Tog Skipper, giftware, 13 fishing fillet table, beverage management system. That's got me intrigued. Righto, so Chris Fishing Adventures in the comments. He's actually got a Hobie, so he'd be in deep with this, saying the fins kick up as well, suspected to be nearly 7K. Now, is that, I'm assuming that's 7K for the whole package, for the Hobie Mirage Pro Angler 14. New Arctic camo and only in the PA model. So yeah, I'm assuming 7K is for the whole kayak, not just the drive, because if it's just the drive, that's got to be for the kayak. It's got to be for the kayak. Back to the, what did I say? Where were we? Giftware. 13 fishing fillet table beverage management system. So the best gift that you can give your mum, your dad, your uncle, your sister, your brother, your aunt, your neighbor, your neighbor's sister, your neighbor's cousin, just anybody. Apparently, icast says the best giftware is the 13 fishing fillet table with beverage management system. Yep, whole new kayak converted from US dollars roughly. So yeah, this Christmas or whenever we get it, you guys got to buy everybody a fillet table, apparently. I'm assuming he's got a little cup holder for your beverage to sit on the side while you're filleting your recent catches. Let's skip down to Marine Electronics. Humminbird Mega 360 Imaging. Took this one out and my goodness, it is clear. Now previously they did have just standard 360 imaging, which is a transducer that goes on the front or underneath your electric motor, and it kind of looks like a radar. It's kind of just scanning around and around, but it gives you a 360 degree view, essentially side scan, so seeing a 360 degree view of side scan all around your boat. So when you're locked stationary with your 360 scan, now this is the mega imaging, so I think it's even clearer, scans even further, blah, blah, blah. You can be stationed in one point and it's scanning 360 degrees around your boat, so you can see, yep, there's fish out here, 30 meters, there's a bigger school out here, about 15 meters. it's crazy. Just jump on YouTube, look it up. The Humminbird Mega 360 imaging. I'm previously and still currently a Lowrance sounder operator, but after working and seeing a lot of the clarity that we're getting out of Humminbird now, it's really got me thinking and wanting to change over. It's ridiculous what they're getting out of it. Kids Tackle Pro, Efficiency Bumblebee, Fly Reel, Siegler Reels SF, Saltwater Rod is a St. Croix, Avid Surf. And that wraps up all the awards for this year. So, like I said, not a hugely exciting one. No groundbreaking stuff except for probably, I guess, the Hobie Mirage Pro Angler 360 drive. Oh yeah, Lowrance has they've done their own trolling motor now as well. Kind of like Garmin, but I guess Garmin won this year. That's the Garmin one there with the wireless foot control. Molex crankbait. Actually, I think that'll be really interesting for cod, just cranking it down under the willows. But yeah, before we go, we'll take a few minutes to get in the comments. I want you guys to jump in. Let me know if there's anything you're interested in, or are you just going to stick with what you're already using? For me, I guess the most exciting thing that I'll probably try out, maybe the Shimano SLX looks pretty good. I don't really need a new reel yet, but it does look pretty good for a cheaper price point DC reel. The Hobie 360 drive looks very good, but I'm not rich. I run a YouTube channel, so I'm very, very poor. The new Stratic reel, love it. I think it's their best looking spin reel that they've done for a long time. The Phantom Spider, I'll probably be grabbing one of them just because it's a friggin' spider and they look cool. Don't know how many fish I'll actually catch on it, but they look bloody cool. And that about wraps it up. We're just about hitting the hour mark. Now we have hit the hour mark, so look, I would like to thank you guys for joining me tonight. As this channel grows, as you can see, we've got cool new artwork around here. That's actually good thanks to a friend of mine that I work with. Did this up for me because my Photoshop program is down at the moment. There's that Molex rat. I think I'll probably try one of them. I think they look good. As well as these swim baits, actually. Completely weedless. But that's it. Look, thanks for joining. We're going to try and make this more regular. But yeah, if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. If you don't want to miss when I put a video up, and you want to join in when we do go live, make sure that after you hit subscribe, hit that bell icon, and you'll get a notification whenever I do put a video up or whenever I do go live as well. I'll just quickly go back through the comments now, make sure I haven't missed anybody. We've covered hard body, soft body, karate, DC. Travel swim baits, and that's pretty much it. I want to impregnate your face. From Farmers. Well, I'll take that as a compliment. Does he mean I've got a pretty face? Well, thank you, Farmers. I hope you have a swell night. But look, we've gotten to all the comments. We've gotten through all the winners. So we're going to wrap it up there. Hopefully, I will see you guys soon again. Thanks for joining in. I really do appreciate you guys jumping into the comments and trying to help me get started this little community here. So we will be live again shortly because I love you. Okay, I love you too, farmers, I think. But yeah, that's it. So if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. I do have some more content dropping. It is winter and it is freezing cold and the fishing has gotten slow. More fishing with turtle. With turtle, like Timmy Turtle? Do you mean Timmy Turtle? You want me to fish with Timmy Turtle? I do like Timmy Turtle. He's a nice guy. Never met him personally, but I do know a few people that do know him. And they do say he's a genuine bloke and he is entertaining. So, yeah. More fishing with turtle. Don't know what that means. Maybe I should get a turtle lure and fish with that. Try catch a cod on a turtle lure. Timmy. Yeah, Timmy Turtle. Thought so. Okay. Anyway, guys. Love you all. Love you a long time. I shall see you again shortly. Hope you are getting out into this cold weather and slaying some fish. If you guys have seen anything at icast that I haven't covered here, chuck it in the comments, because obviously after this video rounds up, people are still watching afterwards, and there might be something I've missed here. He's going to live out of his car and travel around. Yeah, I did see that. Kind of jelly, but I've got my kids and my family and I'd miss them too much. So I do have some trips planned. We've got some cod trips, we've got some Saratoga trips, and probably a Barramundi trip coming up soon too. Actually, I think a couple Saratoga trips. Saratoga. So juicy. So juicy. Gonna get that smooth B-roll going again on my videos, some cool drone shots, and hopefully, actually even more importantly, some fish. So yeah, hit that sub button, hit the bell afterwards, give me a thumbs up, I'll give you a thumbs up, I'll give you 2 thumbs up. This is for you guys watching. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. I don't know how to end it. I'll just say, bye-bye.